I am Pastor John McLean, usually here with Andreas Ruiz, but he's out saving the world, talking about mental health with the children of our community. So we will give him a pass today and today only. But I'm here with you. We got an awesome show as usual today. We have Jason Ayers with Gap Ministries for the first part of the show, and the second part of the show we'll be having Raymond Smith with Realty and one of my cohorts on the newest talk radio show in the city of Tucson, I Am Real Estate show here on KBOI 1030 AM The Voice. But this would not be the Common Good radio show if I did not give grace to a very loving Father that continues to definitely bless my life, bless my co-host Andreas's life, our guest Jason here. He has a very blessed life with an amazing family and gets to do some amazing work. So I would be behance if I did not give it up to our amazing God. And ignore that sound of a sound coming from the back. I think it's the neighbor's bathroom. We don't know. But let me go ahead and give some grace to God. And it goes a little something like this. Dear Lord, thank you so much for being here for us, for guiding us, for loving us, for teaching us how to love one another, Lord. Thank you for putting us on a path and reminding us regularly that it's your path for us, not our path for you, Lord. Thank you so much for the amazing people that you put in our lives. Thank you so much for the calling that you put so much. Thank you so much, Lord, for myself and definitely Jason Ayers here in studio for calling us to serve others and showing us the value of it. We love you so much, Lord. In your son's name we pray. Amen. So that being said, let me turn to another man who's regularly talking about our good God and all the awesome work he does. He and his father is both pastors. I've never heard one of your sermons, but I bet you do a pretty good sermon, I could imagine.
So I am blessed because I am our worship leader, so I actually don't preach very often.
Nice.
My dad says, hey, you need to speak more, and I said, I speak every week. Every week I have to speak because I lead worship, and I interject and share what God's sharing with me as I'm leading worship and why I pick the songs we pick and that kind of stuff. And so I tell him I preach every week. It's just really short. Like I love 5-minute messages every week.
Yeah, that's the best kind.
He gets like he's on vacation for the last 3 weeks. Like he's just been relax and do whatever he wants to do. So hey, I'm holding the fort down, I guess.
Yeah, hold it down. That's it. Yeah, I have to say definitely whenever I get to go and do an invocation at an event, those are my favorite because I'm just 30 seconds in and out, just hit the really good spots. Everybody loves it. Afterwards, everybody's telling me how great it is. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I like those. In comparison to the 45-minute, hour-long sermon where I really just I'm spending sometimes, a whole entire week preparing this. As I'm going through the week, I'm rehearsing and going over it over again. I'm changing stuff. I actually, the day of, I usually have some level of nerves and then, I do, and I definitely love speaking in front of people, love performing in front of people, but it's so much in comparison, like you're saying, with worship or with, doing invocation or just kind of a short opening. That's a sweet spot right there.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess for those who haven't ever heard of Gap Ministries, or particularly haven't heard you on the show before, I guess explain to them what is Gap Ministries and all the many parts, like the octopus of charity that is Gap Ministries.
Yeah, so Gap Ministries is a local nonprofit. We've been around for a little over 22 years. And we have a really simple mission. We bring help to children, healing to families, and hope to the community. And so in those different areas, we have a lot of different programs that we do. So we have group homes that take care of kids that are in the foster care system. We license foster families. We do training for those foster families. We do visitation services for parents and kids that are trying to reunify. We have parenting classes for those parents. We offer second chance job training programs with our commercial kitchen. And now we're about to have our first graduating class for our warehouse training program, which is really cool. We have a big community warehouse where we distribute goods and food out into the community to people who are in need. We have a commercial kitchen that does thousands of meals a week. We have a thrift store that you can go shop at, and we have a Miracle Center, who's a women's recovery program. And so we just a lot of arms, like you said, the octopus of Gap Ministries, and it's really great because it all comes back to those three core things: children, family in our community.
Interesting. So, I mean, just as you're explaining it, there's all these different departments and all these different positions, I imagine, that you need to be filled. What would you say now is some of the greatest needs that you have and filling those positions, or are you guys okay?
Yeah, no, we definitely need people. I think our biggest need is in our area where we work with our kids directly. You know, we have 8 group homes, and like most, not like most group homes, we run family models. So we have a mom and a dad who live in the house full time. That is their job. And we provide, you know, food, and we provide everything for that family to survive. And then we supplement when those parents need to have time off with staff and with people to help and support. So we need, you know, we need a lot of people in that department because it's a difficult job. It's not easy. It's not a simple check in and check out. You know, you're not just punching your time card and going home, because you're carrying the weight of these kids on a pretty regular basis. And so that's our biggest area of need. We probably could hire 15 people in that area today and still probably not be full. So if that's a heart that you have and you really want to serve and pour out to kids, we could use you. And we put people through pretty extensive training. They go through how to deal with trauma, how to walk kids through trauma. And so it's a really, really great need for us. And it's a great need for our community, because it's something that, you know, foster care is not going away anytime soon.
And what type of background would a person need, or would you be looking for and fit in that requirement?
Yeah, so they need to be able to pass a background check and get their fingerprint clearance card.
Okay.
So they have to have, those are not GAP requirements, a state requirement, right? So you have to have those 2 things. And then you need to have some experience working with kids, whether that's, you know, you were a Sunday school teacher for several years, or you've worked in a daycare, or you've worked in this field before, you know, that's great too. But some experience working with kids really, really is part of our requirements for that specific area. But yeah, it is probably will be one of the most difficult things that somebody does, but also one of the most rewarding things that you get to do, because you get to see these kids come from hurt and wounds and rejection at times, and you get to bring them back to restoration and love and show them Christ. And it is a phenomenal place to be if that's really where your heart's at.
That's awesome. Well, after the break, we'll talk about that and more. I definitely want to delve into some of the other departments and different roles that you guys need. I know I've been hearing from Tian, who works over there at GAP, that the need is just so great. I mean, particularly whether it was even before coronavirus hit, but certainly coronavirus seems to hit you guys pretty bad in the employment department. So we'll talk about all that and more after this break. This is a Common Good Radio show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. If you haven't been to veteranrescuemission.org, please check it out. I got Jason Ayers with Gap Ministries here in studio with me. And before we went to break, we were talking about their foster department and just the abundance of need that's there. You're saying that they could hire 15 people today and still probably have more room. So definitely, if you have a heart for children, if you have a heart for helping people, definitely plug in to gapmin.org. .com. And definitely check that out. Check out where your heart, you know, could lend in. But we talked about that, you know, the abundance of need in the foster department. What are some of the other departments that you have that have like a great need? Because as we were talking about before we went to the break, you guys, you know, do so much great work. You always need a lot of people. Even, you know, before COVID hit almost over 2 years ago now, man. But still, you guys seem to be affected by that and been kind of just trying to crawl and nail back to fill those positions ever since.
Yeah, the other areas that I think are in need is visitation services. So that reunification between parents and kids and people who really want to pour into these families, because sometimes it's really difficult. You know, it's hard to hear a story about a parent who might have abused their kid and then have to sit through trying to, you know, you got to teach that parent how to be a better parent
Mm-hmm.
and how to walk through that. And it is a difficult job, but I think it's one of those things that is so fulfilling and rewarding if that's your heart and you have this desire to see parents be grown and become the parents that they are meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm blessed because I have my parents. I've always been around and they've been great role models my whole life. But some people, they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so they might not realize that the choices and the actions that they take, how they really truly affect people, and because they don't have someone in front of them saying, hey, this is how this is going to play out in life. And so being able to kind of be there and support them and walk them through this reunification process with their kids and becoming the parents that they were supposed to be to begin with, and walking them through that reconciliation and walking them through that process with their kids is important.
Interesting. And I something that kind of like I caught when we were talking earlier, the warehouse training program, first cohort that graduated. Yeah, let's touch on that real quick.
Yeah,
I think that's really
so
super cool.
They graduate, I think, in a couple of weeks. I think it's sometime in either the end of July or beginning of August. So we're a few weeks out. But we just opened a warehouse training program, and this was the first group that went through it. So like our culinary training program, it's a 10-week program. They get forklift certifications. They get driver certifications. They get CPR, first aid, and AED, the defibrillator training. They go through a lot of the stuff. They go through OSHA trainings. So they become people who are capable of working in big warehouses like Walmart's or Amazon's, or and not just the people who stand outside of the warehouse, but the people who are running the forklifts and running the heavy machinery, and they can graduate our program and head that direction. So we're really excited. It's a new program for us, so we're kind of this group was our first group, so as you do in programs, you kind of polish it as it goes, and so we're really excited for that one. But they go through the same life skills training that our culinary program goes through. So they have financial assistant classes, they have leadership development classes, they have writing classes and resume classes and all these things that are just some practical skills, personal development, how do I deal with conflict, things that sometimes you walk through with your family that maybe people haven't ever had to do before. And so we try to walk them through those types of things.
Man, there's so many businesses I speak with, whether it's a plumbing company, roofing company, that I refer to you guys because I haven't seen it anywhere else. I'm sure it exists in the world, but it seems like you guys are such trendsetters with seeing, okay, this is where our deficiency is. What training program can we create to fill in that deficiency, whether it's in our community or in our organization? And it started with the culinary program, the mechanic program, and now the warehouse program. Like it's pretty awesome seeing the cool stuff that you guys do.
Yeah, so there's some really exciting news coming from that area, and I can't share all the details because it's not fleshed out. It's not
Fair enough.
But we are going to be working on aftercare from this program. We've realized that that's a big need, and so that's kind of sneak peek here, first take here on the Common Good radio show.
Nice.
That we're working on some aftercare programs to help, not only obviously with job placement, which we do now, but how do they keep that job? How do they stay healthy and productive members? It's one thing to do it in a bubble in 10 weeks and be great there. It's the next level to go out, and now you're kind of trying to do this on your own. And so that's something that we're really excited about. But it's coming in this fall.
Yeah, well, I'm excited.
It'll be
excited. And what about some victories coming out of Gap Ministries lately?
Yeah, so we have had just some amazing support from our community. With the Campus of Hope and with all of the different projects, God seems to just bring the right person along every time. So we just got a grant from Lowe's. We are a Lowe's hometown here. They gave out 100 grants throughout the whole country for $100,000, and we were one of the recipients. Yeah,
Amazing.
It's unreal. So we were excited about that. So that's a huge victory. If you don't know who Levi Wallace is, he is a D-back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's a Tucson native, and he contacted us out of the blue and was like, hey, I really have a heart for Tucson. I have a heart for kids. I'd love to like have a birthday party with your kids because it's my birthday coming up. And he took all of our kids to like Dave and Buster's, and just like, he is the most. I don't like Pittsburgh. Like I'm not a Pittsburgh, but I have to be a Pittsburgh fan now because Levi is just like the coolest guy I've ever. He's so down to earth. If I met him in public, I'd be like, there's no way this dude's a football player, because he's so nice and just so kind. And he like, it's not like he had this party and he was like off to the side, you know, like he was playing like Tekken with the kids. Like he was right there at Dave and Buster's playing the games with the kids, not just like, you guys go do your thing, I'm gonna hide over here. Like he was like, no. And I got the chance to talk with him, and he's like, this is the best birthday I've had in years.
That's cool.
Getting to just celebrate this with people and pour into my community. So we are excited. We're gonna partner with them a lot more, but that was just such a really, for our kids and for Levi, it was a really cool experience.
Yeah, I saw those pictures. It looked amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like, and like you're describing it, it looked like he was like they were all his kids.
Yeah,
like he was taking his kids to Dave and Buster's for the day,
just having fun. We're playing games. We're gonna eat. It was great. It was just so cool. Like, and he's just, him and his team are just so. You know, you meet people who are celebrities, and he's just so like he's just a normal dude that just is like, I just want to pour into Tucson. I've gotten this great opportunity. I'm so blessed to be able to play professional football. Now I want to pour back into the city that I grew up in, and that's just amazing. I love when people love Tucson. Like, that's just awesome. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, if people want to apply for a job or help out or donate, how do they plug in?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, gapmin.com. You'll see a lot of different things. You know, your home button. We have a section that's who we are, which talks about who Gap is, and then we have a section of what we do. So you can see all the programs. But under who we are, there's a careers page. There's donate. There's volunteer. We take groups. I mean, you name it, we can handle it. Nice.
Well, thank you as always for coming on,
Thank
Jason.
You,
That's Jason Ayers with Gap Ministries, a radio show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission, highlighting the good in our community. We just had Jason Ayers with Gap Ministries here in studio with us. Now I have one of my best buddies. His name is Raymond Smith. We co-host, or I sit as a guest host on the I Am Real Estate show. It airs after this show every single week, Sundays at 3. And he's also one of the renowned real estate agents in our community with Indy Realty. Thank you for being here, Ray.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited about being here.
Yeah, and I guess like just right off the top, how does it feel being a radio show host?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I can tell you this by being able to talk to people and understand their stories and listen a little bit about what's going on in Tucson and telling people about what's going on in real estate. Trying to keep people informed, letting them know that there's a lot of things out here in our city that to be proud of and be a part of. And that's what we're trying to do. Not only educate them on real estate, but to also let them know that we have a great community in Tucson and come and be a part of it. Come and enjoy some of the things we have. And there's a lot of nonprofits out there that needs a little bit of assistance. Seek one out and see if you can help our community get better each day.
The thing I've really enjoyed about your show is just the in-depth conversations you'll have that you won't hear anywhere else, whether it's on lending, on real estate, on even, you know, you had a lawyer on talking about
Spuds, which talking about what disclosures you have, all about disclosing, making sure that you disclose when you have when you're selling a property.
So it's just such a beautiful array. And I to kind of pick up a conversation that we had just actually that we will have in the future, because the show airs out this one. Yeah. Talking about just the market right now and just, you know, what to expect in the future and what we're looking at now. Because I know my wife and I, we were talking about, let's wait till September, October, till things cool down a little bit with the market to purchase a house. And then, you know, you and Sandra told us, you may want to second think that. You know, tell me what you were saying.
Yeah, what we're thinking about and what we're trying to remind people is that the market where it is probably going to be stable for a little bit. If it does get a little bit, if the home prices are going up, they're not going to go up too much more. And if you think you're going to, as a buyer, you're going to get a sale, you're not going to get it in the next 3 to 6 months.
Mm.
The one thing is, as you already know, that we have the interest rates going up, and it's coming around 5, and people are looking for that to come down. And what I'm hearing and what a lot of lenders are saying is that the 2% was to help with inflation, to help keep inflation, to keep the business going, keep the industry going. And now that we're flourishing a little bit, they're not going to go. They don't think they're going to go back down below 4 or 5. That's what they're saying. So I'm not the expert. If you were to call me and ask me, hey, are you sure about those numbers? I would send you to one of our lenders that we use and say, hey, you talk to this guy, and he can give you a better idea. But what the conversations we're having with them is that things are going to be this way for a little bit. We were talking about. Well, I can tell you, I had a buyer. I still have a buyer, and he's looking for a home in a certain range. And the thing is that it all depends what range you're going to go in. Because we said you have a good house, you have a good price, you're going to sell quick. And so what we're experiencing is that he and I and the client, we went there to look at a house, and we go in there. It's 0 days on the market, 0 days. We go in there and look at it. Oh, we like this, and I go call the agent. Yeah, it's already sold. It's already under contract. I'm like, okay. Then we did it again the following week, and the same thing happened. So it depends on if your house is in immaculate condition and you have a good price, it's going to sell. And even if it doesn't, this won't sell in 1 week. It may sell in a couple of weeks, but you're not going to get the 10 to 12 offers that you were thinking you would get before. That was when that market was hot. But you are going to get people still looking. And when we talked on the show, we talked about the fact that if you look at Tucson right now is having, to me, a thing that we don't understand is that Tucson is the 81st city that people want to be in. Out of the top 100, we're number 81. So people do want to come to Tucson. And people are coming to Tucson because of our community, because of our prices of our homes, which are a lot lower than people think they are, than they are in other cities. Our community, our sporting events, and and our cuisine. So there's a lot of things that people are coming here for Tucson for. So if you think that they're not coming here to continue to buy homes, that's not true. They're still coming here. I mean, when you're in the top 100 of the cities in the United States, that's pretty good, considering where we were 10, 15 years ago. I think the community is changing drastically. And if you want, the thing is that the people are coming in here to see and then want to be a part of it. So as long as people want to be here, the housing community is going to be right about where it is now, and it may be a little different in a month or 2 or 3 months. Sandra likes to say, that's my wife, was also in the real estate. She's the guru of the two of us. She's the more experienced one than I am. She likes to say that perhaps we know. Maybe, because she never wants to say, hey, something's going right now. I'm the kind of person to tell you, this is what I think is going to happen, this is going to happen, and if it's not going to happen, you were wrong. Hey, I never thought it was going to be right. That's my opinion. Yeah. I'm giving you an opinion of what I think the real estate is going to be doing in the next month or so. I'm excited about it. I think I'm telling people who want to get into the market and start looking for homes, this is the time to look at it. And if it's not what you want, and if you're not in a hurry, the time is to look now. If you're looking 4 or 5 months down the road, this is the time you want to look, because you'll get a chance to. I tell everybody that you're not looking for what you want, you're looking for what you don't want, and that'll help you when it's time to go get the house to get what you're looking for. So don't be afraid to come into the market. Come on and join it and look at it and see what it's like, and get a feel for what it's like to be in the market and to look at homes and to think about, hey, this is what I want to do. And sometimes you might get some chimes where, man, I really like that, but I can't afford it, or I'm looking for something that I really want to get, but I just don't have the time to invest in it, to look at those things. But those are kind of decisions you're having right now. So if you have them now, so in 3 or 4 months now, you're like, okay, we're ready. We can go and do this. We know what we're looking for. We know what we kind of do. We know if we buy something less expensive, how much money we have to put into it. We understand those kind of dynamics. It's good to have that before you get into the game, and then before you get into the market. I don't want to say the game because it's talking about your
probably a little bit of both. Huh?
I don't call it a game, man, because this is one of your top expenses you're putting out in your life. Is a home. So I don't want anybody to think that we're taking it to the game. This is a serious thing, but this is what we get paid to do. This is what I came into the business for, is to help people make those decisions. Like we tell them, we don't make the decision, but I'm going to give you all the data to make an informed decision. And when you make it, I'm there from beginning to the end. After you get the house, we're still around, because that's why I want. We're in this for relationships, not just to sell homes, but also make sure that we have a relationship with the people that we sell homes with. But that's what real estate, I think, is. It's not more about the home; it's more about relationships.
Yeah. Well,
wow, did I talk a whole lot?
No, that was good. That was great. And I'm gonna I'll give the audience a teaser after the break. I'm gonna ask you about what do you do with the client who is in the market to buy a house, but what they're looking for isn't there.
Mm.
So we'll tease that mission. So this must be the last segment. Strap in, put on your seatbelt, your helmet. Hope you got your vest on. We're about to go for a ride. I got Raymond Smith here with Indie Realty, also the newest talk radio show host in the city of Tucson with the I Am Real Estate show, and we're having a good time, I'd say.
Yeah, we're having a really good time. I love the show. I love working with my wife, and we sit here and try to enlighten people a little bit about real estate from perspective. And I think the main thing I want people to realize about our show is that what you hear on our show, we don't want you to write it down and remember it. It's just to give you something to think about, because for later on when you really want to talk about real estate, you may, oh yeah, they said something about that. Let me go find out and make sure I understand. It's just to enlighten you, not to make you a real estate agent, but to give you and keep you informed about some of the things that you might be thinking about or didn't know. So when you go into the business to sell or to buy a house, you're a little bit more informed and ready to go and to seek a house. Yeah.
And the teaser that we gave before we went to break was with your clients, which, man, I'm sure it's probably, an abundance of clients that you have that they're excited. They get with you. They're like, oh, man, I'm ready to buy a house. Connect me with the lender. I got this much to spend. Like, I'm ready. I'm hot and ready. Give me a house tomorrow. And then you go out there and you look, and there aren't any options that meet what they're looking for. What do you do in those situations?
This is what I was talking about when we talk about my wife. My wife would say, it depends.
Yeah.
And I love that comment because it gives her a chance to sit there and, say, me, I'm just like, this is what I would do. I would do this. and we talked about this. And for me, the first thing you have to do is just let them know that the community that we're in right now and if the things you're looking for just aren't available. But I want to keep them positive. So what you don't want to do, you don't want them to leave and be worried about things. So that's my job, is to worry. So the first thing I want to tell them is that, hey, the possibilities out there. Let's just hold off and let's see where we're going. You have to think of things of like whether or not you want them to maybe try to see if you can afford more money, or you want to take a lesser house where that you have to upgrade and you may have to spend some money in the upgrading of it. So you want to give them some options of what the possibilities are, but you also want to make sure they know that this is only temporary. Eventually, something's going to come online for you to use. I always try to tell my clients that it's my job to help you find this thing, help you find this home. Let me do my job, and if we don't find it today, it doesn't mean it's not going to come next day or the day after. Just give us a chance to look, but don't get discouraged. Don't get upset about it. Trust yourself. Trust me to be able to help you find what you're looking for, and be confident that we're going to get there. I like clients to, when they leave my office, leave me and Sandra's office, that they feel as though that we are all working together to get to one goal. And even if it's not the way you want it right now, we're going to get there. And that's the thing people got to realize, that sometimes you watch the TV shows and you watch other people, your friend, how they got their house, how things worked out. It may not work that way with you. It doesn't mean you're not going to get the best house you need and the way you want it, at the price you want it, and at the time you need it. So you have to understand that what everybody went through may not be what you're going to go through. And then when you go through the experience, it may be a lot better than what they went through. So you just have to be understanding that each sale, each transaction is going to be 100% different. And we try to gear it towards you as our client.
And I know periodically on your show we talk about, like, what is it? Something with inventory.
Oh, the fact is that we're 1 month. We only have we have 1.1 month of inventory, when you're supposed to have it in a good industry, real estate industry, to have about 6 month inventory of homes to be able to provide to your client to look at. And now we're only having 1.1, which means that as a seller, they have the advantage of, it's more a seller advantage. But as a buyer, if you're just diligent and you do your due diligence, and your agent does do their due diligence, you have an opportunity to find what you're looking for. It's just a matter of time. And like we said before, and we talked about the city being in the top 100, so people are still coming out here to look at homes. So it's not like there's no homes out there at all. So people are looking out here, or we wouldn't be growing, wouldn't be the number where we're at. It's just a matter of us finding them, and maybe not be the neighborhood you're not looking for. Maybe you want to be on the east side, but now you may have to go to the northwest to find something at that price. Are you willing to move there? What are your concerns? I think when when I talk to my clients when we're looking at homes, I try to tell them this thing, and I wish I could tell you who told me this because I want to give them credit. Is that when you're looking for a home and you're looking and you see all these different things and some of the things you don't see or you don't like, if the home is 85% what you're looking for, then you're probably close. Even in a new home, you're not going to get everything you want in 100%. Even if you go to KB Homes and pick a house, it's still not going to have the 100% of things you want in there. So if you can find if you're at 85%, then you're close to what you need to be. That's probably the house you're looking for. The 15%, you will make it your own when you move in. And that's the kind of number that we're looking to. And I try to tell my clients when they go and look in it, don't look for something that has every single thing. But I do tell them the one thing you got to understand is that they talk about it, you see it on TV is location. If you really like the east side and that's where you want to be, and there's a house on the north side and you say, well, I'll go live there, really think about it because that's where you're going to live for the next 3 years. Can you live on the west side for 3 years or 5 years or 6 years or 10 years, however long you keep the house? So that location can't change. We can change the paint, we can change the furniture, we can change the flooring, can't change the location. So when you think about what you're looking at, and that's what our goal is to do, is to make sure that you understand those things and that you're where you want to be, because when a year from now or 2 years, when I'm calling and saying, let's go have a cup of coffee, or let's go have something at the Sands, I want to make sure you're saying, yeah, Ray, I still want to see you.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be, no, man, because I think this is not where I want it. No, we talked about this, we discussed it, and I want to make sure this is where you want to be. It's not where I want, it's where you want to be. And that's the main thing about our goal, relationships. I'm gonna keep going back to that. It's all about relationships.
Yeah, and in that note, I mean, and I feel like, I know the answer. At least relationships is probably a big part of that answer. What differentiates you and Sandra and Indy Realty from the plethora of options that a client here in Tucson has in choosing a real estate agency?
What I'll say is that we have. And I'm not saying anyone else has this. I'm just talking about me and Sandra. So if you're listening to radio and you're an agent saying, well, I have that too, I'm not saying you don't. But if someone wants to choose me, what they're going to get from me and Sandra is passion. They're going to get the fact that we love what we do. We know why we're doing it. We know the reason we're doing it. We're here to build a relationship. We're here to help a client do something that's very difficult to do and very tiring and very stressful. And we're trying to minimize the stress. When you got to realize that people say, well, we're going to take the stress away. No, I can't take the stress away. But I can minimize it to where I'm taking some of the burden because I'm trying to find you what you're looking for. We believe that we're going to help you. And when you leave our office, when we leave your house, and we're going to look for your home, those are the people I want to take care of me from this point forward. That's how when we leave and we go and do, we call them listing agreements, and we go listing appointments. We go talk to our clients, potential clients. If me and Sandra have not left there, when you left there, you didn't feel comfortable, you didn't feel like, those are the people I want to go with. We understand that. That's what we're going for. We're going to be as honest as we possibly can. We're going to make sure that you understand where we're coming from, that we understand where you're coming from, because just like our radio show, and it says I Am Real Estate Show, the I Am is for integrity matters. So everything we're doing, we're going to do above board and make sure that when we're done with this, the two of us are mutually agree that this is where we want to be. This is where you want to be. This is how you want to be there. It's not about us. It's about you. And once you realize that, and if you feel that when we leave the door, that we've done our job, even if you don't select us, but you can say, but those people, I feel that they are working to make sure that I'm going to be happy. And if you feel that and you still don't choose us, we're totally okay with that because we did our best. And whoever you chose, I wish them luck too. I wish everybody the ability to do what they need to do to have fun doing what they want to do.
I imagine when you do meet with people, I imagine you have a pretty high success rate. Because, I obviously, and I'm a little biased, but you're a beloved character. Both you and Sandra, everywhere you go, everywhere we go.
Thank you. That's very kind.
You guys are beloved, whether it's, the Arizona Sands Club or, just out when I'm out and about and I tell people about your show or tell them about you guys. You guys are just, you're well liked as well. Just that. Not only do you guys charismatic, have great personalities, but like you said, you can tell you guys care. Yeah,
and I think that gets us in the door, but I think our talent in real estate is what keeps us there. And that's what we have to do. We try to do is get ourselves in the door and let you understand who we are and what we're about. But once you get us to do real estate and you see how we think, how talented we are and what we do, you will realize that, okay, I've selected the right people, because not only are we out there, we're doing everything that you need to do, we're doing everything that we need to do to make sure you're taken care of. So yes, I love I love what I do. I love where we're going. I love what all the stuff I'm allowed to do that real estate allows me to do as far as my nonprofits and dealing with other people. But it boils down to my clients. You're the thing that we want to be. We want to have fun with and enjoy. And me and Sandra always trying to say, if you're not having fun, then we're not doing something right. Because we're trying to make sure that even though it's a big decision, that you're smiling. You need to be smiling, and because you need to know that things are going okay. Even if, like you said, the house is not there, that we can't find your house this week. Smile. It's coming. We got you covered.
Nice.
We'll take care of it.
Cool. And so how can listeners contact you if they're interested in buying a house, selling a house, getting into
Yes.
market?
You can reach me at rsmith@indie-realty.com, or my wife Sandra at indie-realty.com, or you can call us. My number is 520-904-7711, and my wife Sandra's number is 520-850-1725. I will say one more thing is that you wonder why she hasn't changed her name. It's because she's been in the business longer than I have. So she has a lot of customers who, if they go Google her, they're looking for Sandra Smith. They won't be able to find her. So we want to make sure they still can get a hold of her. So that's why she want to keep her name as Sandra Johnson. Plus Smith or Johnson, the two commonest names in the United States.
Good.
So it
really works.
matter,
it rolls.
Change it or not. Hey, that's no big deal. But she's, like I said, she's
and then the website?
The website is I Am Real Estate. Oh, our website is rsmith@indie-realty.com.
Nice. Well, thank you for being here, brother.
Excited to be here. Thanks for having me, John.
Yeah.